2, 1. Welcome in. Friday night, we're live with Driver Nation, TNCRadio.live. I'm Tom Kelly along with Steve from Rideshare Rodeo and Gary from Gary's Apps. That's pretty good because Gary from Steve's Apps would make no sense whatsoever.
All right.
Yeah. Unless I made apps.
Right. Then that would be kind of strange, wouldn't it? So, hey, y'all. Nice to have you in here with us on this fine Friday evening. You can watch us on YouTube, and we simulcast at the same time on TNCRadio.live. We're going to spend the next couple of hours talking about all things in the gig economy, and excited to have you in here on this fine evening. Let's start off with Gary. Gary, how are you doing tonight, sir?
Doing well. Been designing stuff all day, banners, T-shirts, things like that. Kind of taking a relaxed day.
You designer, you. I'm so impressed. And Steve, how about you? How are you doing?
I'm fantastic, man.
That's what all the
you say. Sound like it too.
Yeah, I'm fantastic, man.
I'm fantastic, man.
There it is. Yeah. Now
Bring we're it.
Now we're have you guys ever heard of something called Instacart? Oh man, they are so awesome.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait, is that thing that charges you, like they make up prices for groceries and then they charge you like 3 times as much and then service fees and stuff, so you end up paying like $900 for like $100 worth of groceries?
You've got a problem with an $8 gallon of milk? I mean, come on.
Well, actually, that might be what it costs in the store, but I got a problem with Instacart, man. Did you see my short? Is that why you're saying this? Gary, did you see it? I put it up today.
No, I did.
It was kind of a plug for tonight, every Friday, saying that I said tonight on Driver Nation, I'm gonna land Instacart a bit, and then I said I'm gonna do it every week on Driver Nation.
That's what he said. So, Steve, tell us more about what you think about Instacart.
Well, actually, so I was actually trying to get up snowboarding for a few hours today. We've been getting so much that you got to pick your battles on going up the mountain when you're going to drive it. But then I got sucked into other things, and then I did my first shop for my third customer on dumpling. Speaking of Instacart today, and I'm going to tell you guys, I actually had quite a mess up.
Oh.
It ended up fine, but here's what happened. And so I grabbed my wallet, and I had another like little like a travel wallet thing where I put my Instacart card that I never use, my DoorDash Red card, my I put my dumpling in there too, and I was like, okay, I'm just going to keep all these together. And then I forgot to throw it into my wallet, so I got to check out. I didn't have my dumpling card. So I think there's a way to call them and go through that process, but the store was very crowded. So I used my card, and I was like, I'll just figure this out later.
Wow.
Well, it actually ended up being just fine. I just had to talk to the customer and explain what had happened. And I was luckily, again, it's not Instacart. I was actually able to hand them the receipt, say, look, here's the $126 that I gave you, or that I spent. And if you look right now, your thing says 0, but you can add gratuity or whatever, or I can call Instacart and see how they can fix this. And this is my first encounter with the person too. So I'm like, Jesus, dude, I just dropped the ball. And this was a recommendation from my good client. So I was like, oh no.
You mean dumpling, not Instacart.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yes, dumpling. So anyway, she was very understanding. She just wanted it to make sense real quick. And she, she's bright and shit. But she's like, well, I put in a 20% tip. And I'm like, so just forget about it all for a minute, because right now it's 0. And I made a $50 adjustment, so it says $50. So technically, if you don't want to tip me on this one because of this mess up, I totally understand. I value your repeat business even more. I said, so what it is though, is I put in a 50 adjustment. That's the most they would let me make against 126. So I'm technically still just owed 76 on the groceries. Even just that, we can forget all the percentages. And she's like, okay. So she put in 140 and I was like, okay, cool. She's just going to cover a few bucks. And then she handed me a $50 bill.
Oh, wow.
So she's like, you're still getting your tip out of this and all that. Now I got home, I started thinking about it because I was like all stoked, and it is great, but nonetheless, I did lose money too because I didn't get my percentage of the shop. I didn't get. Right. There were things I lost in this, but really not too much because even the 140 paid like for 14 of the minimum 20 that I would have got on the shop. So
right.
Now
it had an option in there. So when I said that was the other problem. So I get home and on the dumpling app, it said, it says attach receipt. And so I hit that and it says, you haven't made a transaction yet. So I'm like, oh God, I'm like, make adjustment. I take a picture through the app. I send it to her. I mean, the one thing about it is, again, if you're your own business, there's a lot that you can just take care of yourself if you just think it through. And so like I took a picture of the receipt, sent it to her, brought her the receipt.
Right.
And, I was actually able to send the initial bill through with like one item. I just made it very easy. And the whole thing was just kind of like a cluster and it was a learning experience.
That's what I was going to say, but you learned something, right?
But I learned, and because I went into her house, brought her groceries in, and she was very happy with me. And I mean, it's snow and it's 20 degrees here today. It's supposed to be warmer tomorrow. But I mean, like, I got it to her really quick and all that. So I did my job. She already gave me a 5-star review and a glowing recommendation.
That's awesome.
Cool.
So yeah, I mean, I think I think customer service went a long way in this fiasco, minor fiasco.
Look, it always does. It always does. There's nothing that beats good customer service. And, one of the biggest problems we have in the gig economy is, I don't know what the percentage is, only some certain percentage of us. And a lot of those people are the kind of people who would tune in and watch this and listen to us. We care about customer service and we get it. And we know the difference between good customer service and bad customer service. There are so many people who don't. I think I've told you the story before about the guy who stopped me one day, and we were at the airport, and he wanted to know, how it was that I forget what we were talking about, but I said something like, I've got a 4.9 rating or something. He said, yeah, I can't get above 4. And I said, well, how many rides have you done? And he showed me his phone. He'd done like 10,000 rides. He was at
4?
Yeah. It was like 3.8. And I was like, okay, well, let me see your car. His car was a piece of crap. It was awful. The seats were cut and it smelled funny and all this kind of stuff. And I said, dude, your problem is, yeah, you're out there, you're busting it, and that's cool, and I get it, and that's, but you got to clean up your car, man. You got trash in the back seat, you got, your seats are tattered and all that kind of stuff. You got to do something to, the whole concept was just so foreign to him. He just was like, so you're saying like if I fix up the back seat, like maybe put something down or whatever and cover up some of this stuff that might help?
Cover it up.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's better. Anything is better than what you're doing now. But I'd say invest in new seats or something. And I don't think he really got it because it was just a foreign concept to him. The whole idea of customer service and having a clean car and all that kind of stuff. I Uber whenever I can. I do it quite often, and I'm just stunned about the condition of some of the cars that I get in, with cigarette smoke and, seats that you get in and you're kind of like, why am I'm sitting at an angle. Why am I sitting
I usually just look. And if somebody doesn't these days, because I rarely would use it. First of all, I would call Tony or Lisa. But I mean, like literally, if I needed to take one, I have no hesitation to cancel based on the car and just a feel I have, dude. If there's a bad number there, no way. I'm not, because I'm paying too much for the service.
Yeah,
So I expect a nice car, and especially with Uber X and stuff, you're not getting a nice car all the time.
Yeah, no, I'm just going 4 or 5 miles, so I'll jump in any garbage dump.
But you don't want to spring up your butt.
No, but unless I find it dangerous. But the nicest car I've ever been in was also the most dangerous car that I've ever been in, where he was going over 100 miles an hour on the highway, and was going over 50 miles an hour in my little suburban street.
Was it a Bentley Coupe?
No, it was a very nice Cadillac and almost a limousine. And I reported him. It's just because I was like his, I don't know, 18th ride or something, and it was horrible. I was scared that whole ride, and I called up Uber and I was just like, I'm a driver too, and it's people like this who give the rest of us a bad name. I mean, he
can't not have known. I mean, like most of his 1 stars probably had comments like, "Dude, your car is just horrid. What do you do?" I mean, you couldn't have shocked him that much. If he said, like you said, he's done a lot of rides, he's had to have had comments like, "Dude, what is going on here?"
He didn't get I don't know. I can't explain people. I can just tell you what.
Maybe he was just putting at the price point and being like, "What do you mean, dude? At these crappy prices, I don't have to do nothing to my car. This is what it's worth at that price."
You're giving him way too much thinking.
Okay.
Yeah. I've
told you the same thing. There's a lot of nasty cars out there that should not be doing rideshare, and I can only imagine. Delivery. I was just going to say, I can only imagine the nasty food delivery cars that like literally have funguses growing on them.
Yeah. They've spilled stuff in the car and never cleaned it up and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they live in it.
Yeah. Basically. Yeah. There is a guy who was at Hobby Airport here in Houston all the time, and he lived in his car. He was there all the time. That's all he did. It was gross.
Well, but now some people, like I've heard this for like California, some of them out there, they can't afford the rent, and so they have to live in their cars.
Yeah, that's because
no, dude. There's not a cop with a gun to their head saying,
"Well, they
can drive out of
they
the
can
state.
Move out of California." I agree there too.
They can grab stuff and leave.
I'm saying if they want to stay in California, their only choice is to pretty much live in their cars.
Okay, and I get that, and Gary, you and I both, and Tom does too. I'm sure we know people who have they're California people. They're born and raised. Maybe they even tried moving away, but they went back. No, dude, it's got to be California. There's just like a lot of states, but especially there's people like that. So, but even if you're one of those people at this point, how it's going, how much it costs, and the fact that there's not a chance you're ever going to get rebalanced, like it's only going to triple every year. Even those people, don't you think they're evaluating, should I go? Should I just leave?
I would.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, man.
I mean, there are those who like, my ex-wife has the kids in California. I don't really have a choice if I want to see my kids. I mean, there are people who are trapped like that.
Yeah.
I would say that, I would say most of the people who live in California are trapped in some way or another, because otherwise, why live there?
Well, they're surfers, or they just, all their people are there, but the rest of the country doesn't understand them. So when they move other places, it's like, I don't get this place. Like, no, they don't get you. But what's up, Behemoth Monkey? What's up, Josh? Crying wolf and saying no sound when we had sound. What's up, Behemoth Monkey? What's up, Aaron? Hi, Holly. Josh B. What's up, Kevin? Hi, Daphne. What's up, Rodney? Ceci. And
you're gonna confuse the radio people. Like, what is he doing?
And I just said hi to the people in the chat. Sorry, radio people. Right. I just had to get it in real quick.
Yeah, there you go. And Joe, I don't know if you said Joe and Aaron, but hello to Joe and Aaron as well. Hey, so that was item one, was talking about. Now we're going to come to a break here in just a minute, And when we come back, Steve, I want to talk to you about curry.
All right.
I've heard over the course of the last few weeks that we talked about different things, some of the difficulty that people have had signing on as drivers. So over the course of the last week, I've tried to either sign up or re-sign up as a driver on several platforms, and I'm 0 for 5.
On 5 platforms?
On 5 different platforms. I can't get there. And Curry's one of them. And
did Curry wait? We'll talk, but did Curry wait list you?
No. Oh. I'll tell you what happened. I mean, it's stuff. I mean, I need Gary to go to work for all these people and fix their apps because their apps.
It's funny you say that because Gary and I have even talked. I just haven't talked to Alice yet about this, but I've said I even said I don't even know what it is, but we need to find a way to bring you into Curry, Gary, because I know like now that I'm getting a lot of orders, I actually need some of the Middleton functionalities, and I've told them kind of what some of them are that would very much be important to me and just would get rid of the others. I don't have to see them.
Yeah, when we come back and talk about it, I'll tell you what Curry said whenever I emailed him about it.
Okay, sounds good. All right, we're going to take a break on the radio side. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. You're listening to TNCRadio.live on a Friday night, Driver Nation. Stay right there.
Meet Joe. He is a gig worker trying to make money using his car. He uses multiple gig apps all at the same time to maximize his earnings. But this can be difficult and dangerous while driving. Sometimes the requests come in so fast, Joe can't pick and choose the best trips to take, which can result in lower pay or lower rated disruptive passengers. That was until Joe found Maximo, the automation app that helps gig workers accept and decline trip requests. Maximo will use the filters set by Joe, like time, distance, and rating, to determine which trips are best suited for Joe. When a trip request comes in, Joe doesn't need to worry. Maximo will compare the trip details to Joe's filters and then determine if it should automatically accept the trip, decline the trip, or allow Joe to decide by showing the per mile and per minute rates. When a trip has been accepted, Maximo will turn off the other apps that aren't on a trip. Once Joe finishes a trip, Maximo will turn everything back on. This will allow Joe to reduce his stress and frustration, drive safe, and focus on the important tasks. Check out Maximo at www.maximoapp.com.
Hey, that was cool. I like that.
Gary made that for himself. He made it, what, Doodly?
Yeah, Doodly.
Yeah. I need a Doodly lesson. I bought that a year and a half ago, and I still haven't used it properly yet.
It takes forever.
Does it? Gary, honestly, how long did that take? And that was your second time making one too, so it's probably easier.
Well, no, that's probably my 20th time remaking that one.
Okay, but like if somebody wanted to, if I wanted,
but what I
wanted to do a 1 minute one, what kind of time were we looking at?
Well, I mean, depends on how good you are with technology and Doodly.
Well, apps like that, I'm pretty good, but so.
Okay, we got another one here. You got to play. I'm gonna put this out loud here.
Gary'sApps.com is the destination for apps that helps gig workers be safer, more focused, and more proficient. The Maximo app, which is spelled Maxymo, it helps Uber, Lyft, and Grubhub drivers by automatically switching between apps and turning them on or off as needed. For example, if a driver accepts an Uber trip, Maximo will turn off all the other apps that are online, and when the trip is completed, it'll turn the apps back on for the driver. It will also auto-accept or decline offers based on the driver's personal preferences that they set directly in Maximo. Find out more at Gary's Apps, Garys apps.com for more information and download the apps you need today.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. All right, welcome back in on a Friday night, TNCRadio.live. So, Gary, that was my shortened version of the Gary's Apps infomercial there. Hopefully that was helpful to you.
It's a little loud.
Yeah, I don't know, Tom. Maybe you weren't hearing it. Like I had to flip mine forward. Like
Yeah, like that thing was.
I put it in the private chat. I was like, "There's a lot of bass." It was like,
Okay. I will check that one out. It doesn't come that way on mine or on the radio. So there's something that on the set.
That's why I put in the notes. What did I put? I just put bass high.
Yeah.
It was just bass. It was really.
Yeah, I mean, I like it, but it just kind of screamed. Yeah. I haven't checked it on the radio side or anything like that to see if that's how it sounds.
Oh wait, that's under a minute?
Yeah. Oh, that was right at a minute.
Oh, nice.
Like 1:06, I think it was.
So he's got a version now with it being red that's actually the minute, Gary.
Okay, read faster.
No, I'm just saying, like, now that other one that I made that I sent to you, it's not public, but I showed you what I did.
You didn't send me nothing.
With that voice, but remember it had different Middleton screenshots?
No. It
was a video that I made unlisted.
When?
I got
Are you sure you sent it to me?
You know what? You're so...
I mean, here's the thing. Like, I can get anything made because, like, I do the basic stuff and I throw it in there, and then I pay somebody to spruce it up for me. So anything you guys want, I can make.
Yeah. Well, I already did this. Next commercial break, I'm gonna play it because I'm finding it's just unlisted. I can play it.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
All right. So Curry.
So Steve, here's the thing. So I go into Curry, and this is, like I said, I'm over 5 on some other ones too. But I go into Curry, and when I try to log in, it tells me I already have an account. And when I log in, it says I don't have an account. And when I try to add a new account, it says I already have an account.
So you probably already have an account.
Okay, so I say send me the link, or send me the thing. It doesn't send anything to any of my phone numbers.
So email Curry or email drivers@curry.com. It's drivers plural.
Okay.
And email them from the email that's saying, hey, you already have an account.
Okay.
So go into that email. If most people have multiple accounts. So go into the email that you signed up with, email drivers@curry.com, and just say, hey, it's not letting me log in. Can you guys tell me what's going on?
Okay.
And it's Friday, but I mean, at latest, you're gonna have a reply by tomorrow morning.
Okay.
So it's unlike these other apps. You're gonna get if it was Thursday, you'd get a reply tonight. Probably before 10.
Well, I can't find an email that Curry has sent me to any of the email accounts that I normally use.
Yeah, I mean, what did I like? I earmarked a couple things here. Like Josh has been doing really well with Curry too. Curry the goat. I mean, it really is. But it's kind of like it's not. I mean, there's little hiccups that happen, but you just got to, like today. You just got to work around them a bit. But your problem's easy to solve. Sometimes it's a lot of jumping around. If you didn't just ask me, you might spend a lot of time on their site going, what the hell's going on?
Yeah, well, I have.
Because what probably happened is you got what they've recently been calling a soft deactivation. If you haven't taken a ride in 108 or 90 days,
yeah,
they'll soft deactivate you. But all it takes is just saying, hey, what's going on? And they're like, oh, nothing. And they just turn you back on because they don't want to pay for the data. Makes sense.
Well, and I've had trouble getting back onto Uber because no matter what I do with my insurance card, they can't read it.
Don't you have a green? You're in Houston. You've got a few green light or green hubs, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I
just go slam it in their face.
And I've got.
Oh, can you read that?
It's a 40-minute drive to get there. It's a 40-minute drive. Wow.
Uber always does that to my insurance too because there's no expiration date on my insurance.
Mine has an expiration.
I don't even think they look at it though.
No, and it's something in their software.
Somebody's looking at it.
Yeah. Like they flag mine all the time saying it's expired. Like I'll upload a very new copy, and then they say it's expired. I'm like, no, it's not, because my insurance puts it on the actual day it starts, and then it's good for 6 months from there.
You guys want to hear something weird? The last time I updated mine, so I always get my Allstate card, right? I get the new one, I rip it out, And then I take the old one immediately at the same time and rip it up. So even though it doesn't matter, no confusion, put it away. They said your insurance is expired. I had both sitting side by side, and I took a picture of the old one they said was expired. And in about 5 minutes, they're like, "You're good." I was like, "That's the same one you had, dummies."
Yeah, sometimes if you upload them too early, like Uber tells me 1 month before mine's expired, but then I upload my new one, like the day that they tell me to do it, I upload it, but then of course my new one shows it starts the next month. So they're like, "Oh, you don't have insurance."
They should just have a checkbox that says, "Do you have insurance?" Sure.
Yeah, I mean,
of course I do.
And they're telling me that my car doesn't match the other things. I have 2 cars on my insurance. Okay, one of them I use for Uber, one of them I don't. Can they not really look at it and realize that they're looking at the wrong number?
You know, Tom, you're gonna have to drive to the green light.
I know I am.
Or no, honestly, you could probably add the other car, never use it, add it, get back activated, and then add the other one too.
I don't think they'll let me add my Camaro.
It's only a 2-door.
Just try, dude. Like I said, with the expired, they had the expired insurance. They're like, "We need the new one." I'm like, "Oh, here's a picture of the old one again." They're like, "That'll work." Like, you never know, dude. They might just go, "We don't take 2 doors," and you're like, "Are you sure?" And they're like, "All right, we take 2 doors."
They would take 2 doors if all I was putting in was for.
Just tell them it's a 4-door.
Uber Eats.
Uber Eats. All I was doing was Uber Eats.
See, that's what can happen. Don't listen to Steve because you're going to add it, and then they're going to take away all your rideshare abilities.
But say like I have the 4-door Camaro. I mean, dude, these people who are answering the phones don't know. They're going to be like, "I don't see the 4-door in here," and be like, "Well, I don't care."
Hey, there's a 4-door Mustang now.
It's not a Mustang. I don't know what the hell that car is, but it's not a Mustang. I was looking at one the other day. I was like, "What? This is a piece of crap."
They got a 4-door Porsche.
Well, but that's an SUV. This 4-door Mustang thing is just ugly.
I agree.
It's a mugly looking car. Hey, before I forget, remember, all of you who are listening in, whether it be through YouTube or over the radio, give us a call. We'd love to talk to you. Give us a call at 706-862-8620. That's 706-862-8620. It's also 706-TNC0. Or if you're using the app, just press the call us button and press on TNC Radio, and you'll be put right through. So we'd love to talk to some of you, especially those of you who are on YouTube. You type in a bunch of stuff, make it easier on yourself. Just quit typing and start talking.
Yeah. Good point. And Random Ryan, if you're one of because we got a good crowd in here right now watching. Like, when there's not a lot of chatter going on, but I just noticed it. There's a good crowd in here. Random Ryan, if you're one of them, call in. Or actually, for you, I'll drop a link because I want to talk. We can talk Instacart.
That's right.
But yeah,
he's
Steve,
actually a big fan. So
Steve, I know I told you this before though with Curry. Remember, I hate their app. I can't stand it at all. So I sent them a better version of their app.
Really?
Yeah, and then I got a generic reply that said, "Thanks for your input. Have a great day."
Wait, didn't you do this a while ago?
Yeah.
So can you just send it to me, dude? I'll just give it to Alice and be like, "Hey, I don't think you ever saw this."
Yeah.
I don't think you got past the first line of Curry defense, but you need to look at this.
Because I don't understand their map. Like, there's no reason for that map.
Yeah. I mean, I just, I can't speak on the level that you probably actually can.
You don't need that map.
No, but I mean, like, all the behind the scenes stuff and how it integrates into.
They don't need that background always on either. No.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't have any complaints with the app because the app is my number one earner. I love it. Even with not the best app, you become accustomed to it. You're just like, whatever, big earner. Let's go.
Just give me my money.
Yeah, I mean, no, seriously, like, and it's good people you're working with. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with Gary. It could be streamlined more, but
Oh yeah, like everything, all the requests should be on that main page. All of them. Like moment you open the app, there's where all the requests should be. You know.
oh,
It's
you
not
mean
hard
instead
to
of showing your car and where you are?
Well, instead of showing my car, I shouldn't have to hit menu request, and then like I shouldn't even have to do any of that. I mean, because that map serves zero purpose. There's no reason for that map at all.
Okay, so there's a trick though, and it's probably never happened to you. But if your car, when you open the app, if your car isn't at your house, like mine always is at my house, and then if you've noticed, you can't move the map around. Like you're just kind of stuck. It's not even like you can zoom out and see like is there hot areas? Why is this map here? It just shows your car and it says active underneath, right?
Right.
And so if your car is ever not at your house, you turn airplane mode on and off, and it resets it.
Okay, that's still
and brings it back to your house. I'm saying like it can screw up your requests though. If they have you somewhere wrong.
Well, that's their fault. They should have you in the right location.
You know? Hey man,
still doesn't mean the fact that the map serves zero purpose.
Right. You should have known better, man. Send it to me. I'll hand it to her. She lives not far from me. I owe her a lunch anyway. So,
like, here, redesign to this.
So yeah.
All right. What else you got for us tonight, Steve?
Oh man. I have, it's been minimal, but I've been doing I'm doing a little bit of DoorDash for science. Wow.
DoorDash for science.
Yeah. I'm trying to see, I haven't had the app on my phone in like 10 months, and I have the curry orders to go around, but there's a lot of para work stuff that's going on, but I also wanted to see what's DoorDash up to? And the offers, I can't believe it. I mean, I have had some of the worst all-time offer. I mean, I had there's a Philly steak and cheese like 6 blocks from me. It's great, but they're not a chain. There was a order that said take that Philly. It said 2 items, pick it up from there, and drive it 9.7 miles to downtown Denver on I-70 to I-25, which has construction. This whole ordeal was going to be about an hour. It was $2.
Oh,
I mean, I thought before it was like a minimal 3, and then at least, most of the people had a tip. So that was not whine about the no tip, no trip. So unless there's a tip, you don't take it. But even that wasn't there. Are you kidding me? 9.7 miles. And you're going to leave me in the middle of downtown Denver for $2? That doesn't pay my gas to get there.
no.
I mean, I don't know, you guys, here's my thing. They wouldn't have these offers if people weren't taking them. I don't know who takes these. What are you doing? Like, if anybody in this stream knows somebody who takes a $2 offer, if you could just take your hand and string it back and whack them across the face, I would appreciate it, man. Like, I think we're past trying to talk to these people.
But you have to record it and send us the video. And don't cut it off afterwards. We need to see the aftermath.
Right, we pay by the minute, not the mile.
That's right.
The longer the fight goes, the better you'll do. But I mean, seriously, that wasn't the only one either. Like, I had a McDonald's one that wanted to go like 7 miles, and McDonald's isn't far from my house, but it was $2.25. I was like, oh my God, just go away. It came back like a minute later for $2.50. I was like, what is it? Like, I was getting more mad at the app than even trying to experiment with it. I was like, what is this?
And which app was this?
DoorDash, the largest delivery app in the country.
I don't get it.
You just got to pull a Bud Soda, stack her out, man, stack her out.
Hi Donna, how are you? Yeah, but I don't want to. I got no problem with what works, but I don't even think that works anymore. Like, if you're stacking, you're not making enough to really make. You're going through so much for that. That isn't even pay, guys.
No.
third world country people make more money to like sweep a
No, they
street.
No, they don't.
Well, some do. I don't know, man. That's pretty bad. I mean, that it's your car. It's your car on the line every time you take it somewhere. It's your mileage, it's your gas, and I would actually have lost money and probably close to an hour to do this. So I would have lost an hour of time that I'm not paid for, and I would have paid for that. Like that one wouldn't have even evened, not even close.
Yeah. Crazy.
So you didn't take it. We assume.
Oh no, dude! I thought it was fire, so I grabbed it. I'm just saying, Gary. Like, okay, when did it go from? I knew 350 went to 3. When did it go to 2?
Some markets are. Well, I don't know about DoorDash.
It can't go lower than 2, does it?
Like Uber Eats, some markets are $1.25. That's their base. Yeah.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. Some DoorDash add-on orders $1.50.
See, but here was something that confused me. Like Tony also told me a trick that, again, it's not that I wouldn't, obviously I do enough digging in the gig world. It's just on a lot of other things. But this is something, because I hadn't done it so long, that the Driven Dad, Tony, told me that if something's over 7 miles, you can count on that being the pay, no hidden tip.
No, that's not true.
Okay.
No.
Well, I don't know if that's just something of his or what. He just told me that the other
now,
day. He said if it's over 7 miles, whatever you're seeing is what you're getting, period. Not a dime more.
Because like I get some orders that are sometimes 10 miles out, and what shows up I get paid, or not what shows up. I'm saying like I'll deliver it and it'll go up.
I'm just I guess what was interesting for me, and it just reminds me that every once in a while I got to jump on any given app, right? Because after not being on it for 10, 11 months, I was blown away that this is what it is now.
Oh yeah, I mean,
I've heard all the stories. I've heard all the stories. Right. I've seen screenshots. I'm just like, when I actually went on it, I hated it 10, 11 months ago. I thought, dude, what is this? This is junk. And then now I go on it and it's 3 times worse.
Well, yeah, but you also don't like food delivery though. Like
so that makes me get lower pay.
No, what I'm saying is
yes, that's the way it works. Pretty much, these apps are so sophisticated now because he doesn't like us anyway. Let's give him the crap done.
But see, I'm all about this, Gary. I'm all about money. If it's a high paying thing, I'll become all about food.
Right, but how many orders did you see that day?
Well, so I was just doing a couple here and there, like crap ones, but like it was timing me out. Every time I've gone on, it timed me out. And I didn't wait it out. I just got pissed and said, "Forget it, man."
Right, but like we discussed last night, everybody.
What I was saying is, I get a lot of orders.
Right, but everybody has their 2 or 3 apps that they like to run. So somebody that they prioritize DoorDash, they're typically. I mean, they're going to probably decline a lot of trash, but they're going to see eventually good offers they want to take. To where you're going to get pissed off.
Let me tell you this. When I pulled the app back on, I was at 100%. Everything was reset, right? All good. Oh wait, are we taking a break?
No, he said
1 minute.
Oh, right. So everything was ready, and I am now. I've done 14 trips. I've worked about 3.5 hours on the app, and I have a 3% acceptance rate.
Mine's 85.
Right, but only 3.5 hours total. I'm at 3%.
That's a fair amount of rejection.
And that was a Friday and a Saturday, and a half hour today.
Wow,
trash.
Maybe you should do more. Get up.
Yeah, I think the app just doesn't like you because you don't like it. That's the problem.
Maybe I'll try and love it.
Okay, yeah, that'll work.
Give it a hug.
We're gonna take a break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes. You're listening to TNCRadio.live. Stay tuned.
Oh, wait.
So you got a video
The
now?
Maximo app, which is spelled Maxymo, it helps Uber, Lyft, and Grubhub drivers by automatically switching between apps and
you
turning
didn't send
them
that to
on
me.
or off as needed. For example, if a driver accepts an Uber trip, Maximo will turn off all the other apps that are online, and when the trip is completed, it'll turn the apps back on for the driver. It will also auto accept or decline offers based on the driver's personal preferences that they set directly in Maximo. Then they have the Driver's Utility Helper app, also known as DUH, which is similar to Maximo, but is only for DoorDash drivers. It as well can help by automatically accepting or declining offers, in addition to showing drivers on-screen information such as the per-mile rate and how long until the delivery is due, which will allow the driver to make a decision quicker when the request comes in. The last app is Flex Alert for Amazon Flex drivers. It takes the hassle out of tapping the screen for hours on end, which can be exhausting, by automatically tapping the refresh button for the driver and then alerting them when a new block appears. This way they can focus on a more important task, driving. Find out more at Gary's Apps, Garys apps.com for more information, and download the apps you need today.
You've never sent me that one.
Oh. Well, I mean, I was trying to also, I wanted different images too. So I'm still like, unlike what you found today, that was the right.
Now, why do you need it for less than a minute?
I just thought a minute was a good, a minute's always a good time filler to have. 1 minute.
Oh.
I don't know. It doesn't have to be. I mean, it's fine. I just need to replace the images.
Yeah, I can make you animated for it.
Well, I mean, I don't know, man. That's just what I just threw it together in a little bit of time. I just wanted to make something.
Yeah.
Because it was Bill's voice, and
you definitely need better images for it.
Yeah.
Maybe some of the app, maybe some.
Yeah.
I don't know. If you send me the link so I can watch it, I can probably throw together some images for it.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. You guys have now seen 3 Gary apps today, or commercials today. Different ones.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Bruce Turner? What's up, Rideshare, Lisa?
Yeah, I don't think I have the DUH one on here, do I? Like the actual.
No, and like the
commercial?
last screen, if you saw, I like had all 3 listed at the bottom there. So.
Yeah, I don't have any of Flex Alert anywhere. I don't even have a thing for that, like a commercial or anything. Probably need to.
Was that image I even used yours, or did I just find something?
Yeah, that's Flex Alert. Like that's how quickly I threw together that app. Like it's not even a good logo or anything. It just the name.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, I just threw it together because that was my personal app whenever I did Amazon. And then after, I was like, okay, I'll release it to everybody else.
Are we on radio?
Not yet.
What's our time?
We've got 30 seconds.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, nope, 45 seconds.
Just enough time for a song.
Well, midnight headlight, blinding on a rainy night, steep grade up ahead, slowing down and making no time. I gotta keep it rolling. Those are windshield wipers slapping out the tempo, breaking from the rhythm with the song on the radio. I gotta keep it rolling. I'm driving my life away.
All right. So here we go. Coming back in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back in TNCRadio.live on a Friday night. It's time for Driver Nation. I'm Tom. He's Steve. He's Gary. Happy to be with you here on a Friday evening. Guys, got about 10 minutes before we get to the top of the hour. In the next hour, beginning of the next hour, going to give you the keyword of the day for your chance to win $1,000. Yeah, it's totally serious. It's a $1,000 opportunity. All you got to do is go into TNCRadio.live. You can use the website, you can use the app, and get your chance to win $1,000. But we'll give you that word next hour. How often, Steve, do you give away $1,000 on your YouTube programs?
Never.
Gary and I do it on Discord every day.
Yeah,
so
right.
Those of you not on Discord, get
Yeah.
on Discord. I don't know what you're
Right.
doing.
Yeah. And of course, they do that
we did have holiday giveaways, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. We did have holiday giveaways, though, this year. Or last year, I guess. So we gave away some money.
Good.
Actually, yeah, I mean, actually, leading up to Thanksgiving or whatever it was, we did the whole thing.
Thanksgiving
and then
and
an
Christmas.
ultimate drawing and for all the winners.
So since we got a short time, Steve,
That's what I was just looking for.
Let's talk about something here.
Yeah. Well,
Two things real quick.
Okay.
There she is.
Okay, one of them is Uber says that they're going to be all electric by 2030.
Not in Wyoming. Because Wyoming said they all need to be gone by 2035.
I know. So for 5 years they're going to be all electric in Wyoming.
I doubt it though, man. Why? You know what? I really, man. I know that this can be a harsh comment, but I like Wyoming. I love going up to Jackson Hole, and I mean the beauty of it. But I got to give them credit too for things like that. The whole rest of the country is either like we're going EV or we'll talk about it. They're like we're not. Like F you, you're not even close to it. We're gonna like leave our beautiful state the way it is. And
So what do they say? I don't know this one.
Well, it's part of another article that's on Rideshare.com.
Okay.
It says that Uber wants its future to have 3-wheeled cars, face-to-face seats, and all electric vehicles by 2030.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they're going to be making a custom-made electric vehicle that has 3 wheels, and instead of the passengers sitting side by side, they're going to be facing each other, so it's more of a experience, I guess.
Yeah.
But first of all, facing face to face like that would probably make me car sick.
Facing another person, yeah. Well, yeah. If you're the one with your back towards the driver and you're going in that motion, it might make you sick. I agree.
Well, I mean, even if they're both face to face, the back seat they're facing each other, so that when I'm looking out the window, it's going by.
Yeah. I can see that too.
Yeah, I'm going to get sick.
Yeah. And so I just thought that was a very bold statement, though. By 2030, that's 7 years away.
they're also going for not only that, it's not going to happen. We all know that,
right?
Whatever.
Yeah,
they don't
even
the person that said this at Uber knows that's not. He knows that's not even in a long shot range.
Right.
They're like, hey, go out and tell people this. So and he's like, but that's not going to happen until 2070. And they're like, yeah, but just say 2030. What's the difference?
We can just keep pushing it back.
Yeah. I mean, but the other thing they're doing is that I thought was weird is, okay, let's also move it to a 3-wheeled car because that'll help the environment. Really, you're going to do all of it at once, huh? You're going to go to driverless. You're going to go to people sitting facing each other. You're going to just have 3 wheels. And it also, I think it says it does a good mile per hour, right? Said it can go above 50 or something.
Yeah, over 50 miles an hour.
Right. So you're in this little soapbox racer that somebody over at Uber made.
Yeah, what could possibly go wrong?
Well, and that's like Uber's making this car, by the way. It's not a car manufacturer. It's not Tesla.
Right. As soon as I saw 3 wheels, though, I don't know why. It doesn't even relate to it. But I was just thinking golf cart. I just meant how it's going to be built. It's just
smart car, like the little bitty smart car.
It's going to be this piece of crap. How does it make a turn at 55 miles an hour with 3 wheels?
Well,
what if you got people in there partying because there's no driver? They're jumping around.
Do you think
they're
the front
drinking.
two wheels or two rear wheels? Probably front two. Kind of like a spider.
Right, but what if like people are having sex in the back and they're on one side of the car?
Oh,
Now you got a three-wheeled car tipping over,
That's an issue everywhere, I guess.
but not with four-wheel cars. It would be a weight distribution problem, but it wouldn't tip the car over.
Well, if they're having sex in the back of your car, you got more
You're not
problems.
there, dude. This is autonomous too.
No, these just say electric. They didn't say
three-wheel
autonomous.
electrics.
Yeah,
Don't
they
you
didn't
think
say
that's gonna be
autonomous.
I
They
just
did not
think
say
it is.
autonomous.
I know, because they can't put autonomous three wheels and you're going to face each other and 2030 into the same article.
It blew
It's
up the
just
internet.
too much bullshit. Sorry.
It could happen, Steve.
And like I've said, once they, to the point of autonomous, sex will happen in these. Drug use will happen in these. And then guess what? Then a mom and their kid or dad and their kid is going to want to get in this thing. And it's going to smell like funk. And there's going to be needles on the floor. And what then what? What if the kid sits on a needle? You going to handle all those lawsuits, Uber? Or?
of course that's going to happen. I mean, that's... Yeah.
So you're thinking 7 years we're all going to be fired from?
I'm just going to keep calling them and then taking a Molotov and just throwing it right inside, shutting the door and letting it go on its way.
Oh, you better hope nobody ever does that in Denver now, 7 years from now, because they're coming knocking on your door, Steve. FBI.
I'm the only one who thought it.
Yeah, but you're the only one who said it on the internet. 7 years from now, they're going to find this video.
Actually, not even with. Again, that what is it? The chat thing, the AI.
Oh, the AI chat. Yeah,
Oh my god, dude!
See this tomorrow.
Chat CPT. Yeah.
Now I've got a good graph talking about more. You guys know where I am on the EV stuff, and I got a good graph I'll show you guys in the next hour or two. That all I want is somebody who really loves this EV stuff and believes in it. When you look at the facts, just answer some factual questions.
Well, I love EVs. I love autonomous.
Yeah.
But I just think we're
Gary's realistic.
Yeah,
right.
I just think we're a long way away from both of them.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, dude. Honestly, I mean, and again, we've said this before, but I haven't said it in a minute. And this is important, you guys. Like, why in the world? I don't have my iPhone near me, but why in the world why in the world do they have software that can't determine, the facial recognition software can't tell if you're wearing a mask, like what's going on. They can't tell like if you're of dark skin, if you're a minority, or if you're a woman, like the percentage of like it working is like a D-F. It's like 60%. But yet an iPhone can be picked up and has complete, very real facial recognition immediately and works every time.
Apple's been around longer.
No, my point is they don't want to spend the money.
That's exactly
on
what it comes
would
down
work.
to. A lot of it comes down to operating budgets, is what it is.
Right. But I mean, literally, they're never going to get it to work on the cheap crap.
No, they're not.
So it's like they're not even trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they're just prioritizing other things first. And
I just think I think it's for investors. Like, dude, we have facial recognition going over in Europe, and the investors don't dig that deep into like, yeah, I saw that, but it's only 60% efficiency.
Well, better than 50%.
I don't know, man. Like people have gotten deactivated because it's nighttime.
I get. Like,
skin.
if you're going to use it as a standard for any type of deactivation, it needs to be
working.
98% of that.
I mean, it needs to work.
Right.
It definitely needs to work.
Yeah.
I mean, like we've seen people take pictures of like their floorboard and it lets them go. Like, how's that work?
Hey guys, we got to break out here for the radio side. So we're going to do the top of the hour stuff, including the news, all that good stuff. We'll be back in about 5 minutes. You're listening to TNCRadio.live on a Friday night. Driver Nation, Tom and Gary and Steve, and a whole bunch of people who are listening in and watching us on YouTube. You can join us there or catch us on TNCRadio.live.
There's some funny
Okay, we're
comments in here. I saw Light just saying like, COVID and viruses are serious. Yeah, let's build cars that people are riders are facing each other. Brian Kern. They have a weight limit and those things. Okay, but like, I guess we're talking about if it's autonomous. Like, then what? Like, how are you going to stop people try and push their way into Ubers with a driver now? Even when the driver says too many people, they still try and just do it. They don't care what you say. So they're definitely going to do it with the autonomous. Lock up the wheels. So we should share this video. I think she's talking about because I will get caught down the road for something. Lisa, this is not Minority Report, I hope yet. So they can't accuse me of a future crime. Tom, I hope you're clearing my name.
Yeah, we're going to have to go after Steve for sure. Sorry about that, Steve.
They've already been deployed to your location, Steve.
Yeah.
Hey, what's up, Bobby? How are you? And what's up, Cruise and Dash? I haven't seen you in a minute. How you been? But yeah, if any of you guys want to join in, there's a phone number even floating on the bottom. Bobby, Cruise and Dasher, Lisa, Brian, anybody? Josh,
Bobby, why is my name got to be second? What's up with that? He said your name first. Why I got to be second?
At least you got mentioned.
Yeah, where's Tom's name?
That's all right. I don't have a problem with that.
Aren't you glad he doesn't have a 5-minute video commercial?
That was great, Tom. I saw that. You didn't catch it, did you?
What?
That's all right. No, we're good.
Tom's like,
said everything I need to say.
But yeah, I don't know if you want to dive into some of the nasty, man. And it's not even gig related, but some of the nasty DOL stuff. I'm sure you saw, Tom. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Which stuff? I'm sorry, I was reading
the Labor Department, the new worker classification rule, the FTC saying no more non-competes, but you need to be an employee.
Yeah, we talked about some of that.
Sports industry is getting nailed.
Yeah. Well, we're going to try anyway.
And we talked about the DOL last night. We should talk about the simple fix for it. You have it listed here. A simple fix to the Labor Department's misclassification rule or new worker classification rule.
Okay, let me see if that's the trucker one.
Is that for the trucker one?
Let me see.
It says AB5.
Oh yeah. So I think this one might be for the truckers. But I do have something I will share on this screen actually that is I want to. You guys should all see this. You should all see what the old rule that they're trying to change on the independent contractor actually reads. Here, I went and got this. So let's see if we can bring this up. Okay. So the economics realities test is how they do if they determine if you're an independent contractor right now, or how they did before Biden. And so now there's new language, but the Biden rule changes are way even worse language. So they've already taken this away, but explain to me, anybody, why this doesn't work. I'll read it for the radio people.
Well, we're not on the radio yet.
Okay.
We're not on the radio yet. Yeah.
But we probably got like 3 minutes left.
Because I think this is exactly right.
How long, Tom?
This works.
About a minute.
Minute left. So if you want to wait, then we can go over that.
I'll take it off. Don't look at that, people.
Yeah. Ignore that. We did not show you that yet. Just wait. Oh, I seen another story today about our favorite TikToker eating food.
Which one eating food?
Van.
Oh.
All right.
Between Van and Trader, they're all over the
20
news.
seconds. 10. And 3, 2, 1. Welcome back in TNCRadio.live. Happy to have you with us here on a Friday night. Driver Nation, where we turn our attention to all things in the gig economy. We're having a little discussion during the top of the hour break there and talking about worker classification. I've also got something I want to talk about as far as the overall infrastructure. We've got some new data in on that it would take to support moving to electric vehicles throughout the United States. Some rather startling numbers, I think, that, quite frankly, I want an answer to it. But for anybody, whether it's Elon Musk or anybody else who's thinking we're going to, show up and be ready to go with electric vehicles at, 50% by 2030 and most of it there by 2035, not going to happen unless we handle some real facts. But first of all, Steve, let's talk about what you were looking at as far as worker classification stuff.
So, okay. So look, the Department of Labor we all know that there's a rule change going on right now. Right now they're sorting through all the comments that were made because about 70% of the comments that were made were bots. We knew that was going to happen. Kim Cavan is actually leading a fight on that. And she's putting in a ton of hours every week, literally just to get these bots removed. She's sending them back batches of which one are bots and getting them pulled before the rule change is being discussed. Then they're going to get down to the real things that were filed by real people like me. Hopefully you guys, hopefully other people did it. Hopefully you did put in something on the gig economy and that you would want to stay an independent contractor. Otherwise, I'm guessing you want to be an employee. So part of the language is already kind of changed, but it's getting ready for a huge change, and what'll be in that, I don't know. But here is the biggest change would be the rescinding of the 2021 independent contractor rule. Now, here is the 2021 independent contractor rule. So let me bring it up full screen. It's the economic realities test that focused on two factors. The first factor was the nature and degree of the individual's control over their work. If an individual exercises substantial control over key aspects of the work performance, such as their schedule, selection of the projects, and ability to work for others, that individuals would likely be considered an independent contractor. If, however, the individual did not exercise such control, they would likely be considered an employee under the the FLSA. The second factor focused on the opportunity for profit and or loss. And that's an important part, I think, of this, the or loss. Maybe a lot of us really haven't put that into haven't really digested that like we should. But realize that, if we're going to say we're independent contractors, we're a business. Yes, guys, losses occur in businesses all the time, probably more often than not. So, and businesses go under, things happen. If an individual had the opportunity to earn profits and incur losses based on exercise on his or her own initiative or management of his or her own investment on helpers or equipment to further their work, that individual would likely be considered an independent contractor, according to the 2021 rule. If, however, an individual did not possess these opportunities, they would likely not be considered one. I'm okay with every part of that.
Every bit of it. Yep.
That's all it needs to be. That's all it was. It was very simple, and that is what an independent contractor is. That's the most I love that, because that's the most easy to digest. You can go look at all the state things and all the things we've talked about and everything. This one is so easy to digest.
Yeah,
You
but
can read this, it makes sense.
It flies in the face of the person we were reading last week. Who was it? Was it Oregon? Minnesota? No, Minnesota. The Minnesota Uber Lyft Alliance, or whatever they were calling themselves.
What did he call it?
What did he call them last
Mud
week?
faces. Yeah,
Mud faces.
yeah, the mud faces.
But
So
it's let's be clear, too, it's Minneapolis. It's not
what?
the state. It's Minneapolis, even though that's 80,
Right.
90% of the state. It's
Yeah.
not the state yet. But
Right.
that's a big deal. Yeah.
Regardless, they were flying in the face of this because they were like, "Hey, you're making us use our own cars."
Mm-hmm.
No, we're not. You don't have to do this job.
No, they're given an opportunity using your own vehicle.
You get the opportunity to. It's so backwards in the thinking. I don't get how anybody can. I mean, to me, it's almost stupid. It's either stupidity or you're lying and you know you're lying.
Well, Tom, I know you got something to say, but I do want to at least mention this because also the DOJ is tearing down non-competes. You can't even if a company has one, a non-compete won't hold up in court. So if you sign a non-compete and you get hired, you don't need to follow that non-compete. Now, Gary and I instantly threw this into the tech realm. Dude, what would this do to tech companies? Let's take like Comcast and one that I have around here, CenturyLink. How could Gary, who's a programmer, work at 30 hours at both without a compete clause? A non-compete clause. I mean, he could trade every single person you have and be trading secrets.
Well, I mean, just because you have a non-compete or don't have a non-compete, if you trade secrets, you're still
right.
That's not what I said. What I said is there's nothing that stops me from going to work at Uber or Lyft,
right,
and then also duplicating what I'm doing there for my own business as a competitor.
Okay, but yeah, even better. Okay, so but here's my point. Like, if you have to sign, are we just going to take every right away from businesses? Because the evil corporations or the evilists get away with whatever they want, but you want to take away the ability to have non-competes? Like, I work for a laser company. We're the second largest in the world, and really there's some garage operated ones, but this is a professional level. We handle Toyota, Disney World, Carnival Cruise Lines. It's a big deal, and there's only about 5 laser companies in the world. I've crossed paths with every one of them working shows. I can't, if I were to leave laser, now I haven't been a salaried employee for a while, so it probably doesn't apply to me, and I love my boss, so I never would. But when I was there, if I were to leave laser, I couldn't have another laser job for 3 years. I'm okay with that because that anywhere.
No, see, so that doesn't hold up. Your all non-competes have to be within a geographical area. Have to be.
Well, there's only like 5 in the world, and the problem is they all write their own technology. I would have lived up to that anyway. Because here's the thing, I guess it's my example, but I still work for them, and I love that company. I wouldn't want to work with another one.
No, I understand, but so I've been under non-competes off and on throughout my entire life, and they all have to have a geographic boundary to them. So when I started my new company, I couldn't do that new company in St. Louis. I had to come to Houston
But maybe it's different because every one of these companies is on a world scale.
It doesn't matter. You have to lock in a geographic boundary.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I mean that's just part of the.
Because like I can say this, like, okay, so it was when I lived in Miami. Okay, they were based out of Miami.
So they can block you from working in Miami, but they can't.
Okay,
block
but there's not even another laser company in Florida.
Doesn't matter.
So I mean, like, there would be no reason. So
right. But I'm just saying, let's say you go to work for a company in St. Louis and they want you to do a job in Miami, they can restrict you from that.
The thing is, it's a very small company, and you are being taught Laser Max software, proprietary software. I know, but like, really, you could. I could think of a lot of damaging things I could have done to this.
Oh, sure.
But anyway, I think it's just another right that companies have. How the legalities are spread apart with it. Okay, let's say that there's the geographical location. Even the fact that they're going to take away that right for, like, what if all of the companies are nested in Miami and you do want a non-compete for something? For whatever reason, and it's legal. My thing is, why are you going in and ripping? First of all, trying to make everybody a damn employee, but second of all, why does it matter to you if that company has non-competes? And in fact, if you're going to make everybody be an employee, I mean, I don't know. Like, a lot of these companies that use non-competes, I understand. I don't like them either. I'm not a big fan, but they exist. They shouldn't be taken away.
They need to be governed better than they are. I gave you, I mean, in the
I guess I'm just
world,
looking at the timing. Let's make everybody an employee. Hey, let's burn these non-competes. Okay, then don't make everybody an employee. That's you admitting that it's not going to work.
Yeah. No, you're right.
That's
Those
what I'm
things
seeing.
are incongruous.
It's like they're trying, like, okay, well, if it's not going to work, let's make non-competes not work. Okay, that might be a good idea on its own, but it's not a good idea to, like, make this stupid idea work, because it's not going to work.
I agree.
I guess that's my point.
If you had one, that was your point.
I probably didn't.
Okay. Hey, let's see. I've only got a few minutes. So instead of the BEV stuff I was going to talk about, we'll do that. You know what? Since I've got, I'm going to go ahead and do this right now. Stand by. Watch your ears. This may be loud. All right. Those who listen to TNCRadio.live know that means it's time for the word of the day. Go to TNCRadio.live, go to the website, or use the app. Put in your, go to the contest page. It's easy enough to find. And put in your information for your chance to win $1,000. And everybody who is listening to us right now on YouTube, see, you're just sitting right there. You get the moment to do this. Free $1,000 cash. You want cash? Well, that's the keyword of the day, cash. Just go in and put in cash, CASH, for your chance to win $1,000. They'll give you a call around 1 o'clock Eastern on Monday. So if you see coming in from a radio station in Indiana, a phone call, answer it and get your $1,000. And they'll send me a check. I'll send you a check, and off we go. You have your $1,000 right away. How's that sound, guys?
Awesome.
All right. So that's your keyword for the day, cash. We do this as part of our group that we work with, the Independent Broadcaster Association. It's a group of radio stations who do things together, like combine our money to put together cash options like this and do other things. And so highly encourage you to jump on that. I've got another moment here. I've been tracking recently Smuggler of the Week. Here's Smuggler of the Week from this past week. A trucker was arrested last week with more than 265 pounds of uncut cocaine. How about that?
That is a lot of cocaine.
What he did was he had the decorative rocks like you would use in your front yard or something to, they're not real rocks, but you can do that. So he stuffed them in these decorative rocks, and these the guys who controlled the borders and stuff, he was coming in from Mexico into the U.S. and there was just something suspicious about him. These guys, they do this for a living, and there's something about this guy that tipped him off. And so they pulled him over for extra review. They brought over one of the dogs, and they said, some of these rocks looked different than some of the other rocks. And they had the dog sniff them out, and sure enough, they found all this cocaine, 265 pounds, over $4.1 million.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I find it amazing the way these different people try to smuggle this stuff in, both on planes and through trucks and all sorts of stuff. We had another one where a guy was smuggling through a saxophone, and he essentially, in the midst of his saxophone, it was essentially a rocket launcher, a grenade launcher that he buried into the saxophone stuff. That was going through an airplane.
Yeah.
I
got sucked into a show, so I don't watch like TV on any like given night. I don't watch shows. I might watch sports or something, but sometimes I'll get sucked in and like totally junk out on something. And I got sucked into like this smuggler show on, I think, History Channel or something. Man, it really was interesting though, because like some of these countries, like they're getting through with like what you just said. And I'm like, dude, how'd you not catch that? Like, and then in other ones, they're nailing you for everything. It's like, what the hell's going on here, dude? Like, I don't know. And it could be the same country. You could go to Peru and you see this totally like, just like, really, you're just letting everybody walk by and the people in charge are talking. And then the next time they show Peru, they're like on their game. They're like taking everybody to the back, cavity searches, the works.
Yeah. Last time I went to India, I think I still owe that guy a tip or something for the way he was checking me out. I mean, whew, no privacy. Let's put it that way. All right. Hey, we're going to take our break on the radio side. We're going to be back in just a few minutes. You're listening to TNCRadio.live. When we come back, going to talk a little bit more about infrastructure around electric vehicles. This is Driver Nation on a Friday night. Stay tuned.
Hey, while we're on this break, you guys, I at least want to tell you this really short story. You guys know I never talk about like the rideshare professor Torsten type stories. I am friends with Torsten, but I don't talk about like people being kidnapped and how, the company owes me money and it's not funny to him because Uber does owe him a lot of money. If those of you that don't know, like Torsten is actually owed a lot.
Yeah, for referrals, right?
Yeah, but I mean like hundreds of thousands.
Right, for referrals. Though.
Yeah.
Right.
So this is kind of up his alley though, what he would normally talk about, but I just find this one weird. Just weirder than normal. Driver Rodney Glover, 69 years old, picked up two men in San Francisco. So both passengers were allegedly heavily intoxicated and couldn't give an exact address of where they were going. Glover demanded a cash payment and they got into an argument, authorities said, and then, quote unquote, "I'll cut your fucking throat, bitch," Glover told the victim, according to the officials. So the driver said it, and he told the officials he said it. But it goes farther than that. Surveillance video showed the victims getting out of the car when one of them realized he was bleeding from the knife slashes on his arm, one of which was his bicep and exposed the bone.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, this is a driver who picked up, basically, look at it this way. This is a driver who picked up two drunk people and probably like in San Francisco and does, probably does it a lot, but these ones went a little, this is, I mean, a perfect example. Don't get drunk, take an Uber and fall asleep, man. Because I mean, like this guy got that kind of mad. Like I've dealt with drunks where they the next day don't know what's going on or they don't exactly remember leaving your car kind of thing. I'm sure I've been in the bar industry long enough to have dealt with this a million times. But I don't know, as a driver, your instinct should not be to have a knife and just turn to the back seat and start stabbing. Unprovoked too. Like
anger
right.
issues.
What is going on? I mean, I don't know. Plus the guy's 69 years old, dude. Hey,
Maybe more flashbacks or something. I don't know.
no, the whole thing, and that's the thing. The police have the dash cam. The whole thing's on camera, and he admitted to it.
Wait, do we have the video?
No, I don't think it's in here.
The video's there. Let's play it.
If it is, it would be on Twitter under the handle Henry K. Lee
I'm looking
KTVU.
I'm looking it up right now.
And it's from it's from a little whiles back. So this is January 17th is this post. But I just see one and I see that there's a bunch of posts in there. I don't know.
And this dude's Twitter feed's full of negativity.
Well, I'm seeing it in an article, but
3, 2, 1. Welcome back in TNCRadio.live. Happy to have you with us here on Friday night. Guys, I wanted to talk for a few minutes about electricity consumption. And so let me come back over here and put this. Let me put this on the other window. Get over there. Here we go. So I found this fascinating, and I hope you do. Hope you do as well. So let me present, share screen. Here we go. All right. So what this shows is if we were to move to electric-based vehicles, this is what would be required by 2030, increased over what the states are currently doing. So in other words, put this a different way, Texas would need to produce 32% more electricity than is being produced right now to meet the needs of an electric vehicle society. California would need to produce 57% more electricity than they do right now. Do you get how bad this is? The best state is Louisiana. They would only need to produce 28% more electricity than they do right now.
Yeah, but they get flooded every year, so.
I mean, I find it interesting. Look at North and South Dakota. North Dakota would be 30.1, and I'm sure it's a per capita thing because that's how energy is used. And then right below it's what? I can't really see it.
45%. Yeah.
Okay, so 15% difference, and those two states are pretty much exactly alike. One has less people in it, but the percentage of how much more they'd need should be equivalent.
No, again, so South Dakota already produces a bunch of electricity, and that's where is
North Dakota probably already produces a lot because they got a lot of oil up there.
Not anymore.
That doesn't matter as to how many power plants they have.
Well, I'm saying they got a lot going on up there.
So how are they going to, any of these states, produce that much more electricity? At the very least, this would cost over $250 billion to upgrade these states so that they could produce that much. And that is using the same technology to produce electricity we're already doing, which means more pollution.
Right. I mean, how do you produce 63% more?
Exactly.
And I can't see you guys. What is Maine?
Maine is
Maine
60.2.
Oh, okay. I thought that said 80,
60.2.
dude.
Yeah, 60.2. So Utah's the worst at 62.9. How would they do this?
I would call California the worst at 57 because of the population. Like, that state alone, I don't even know how they could be 1% more. without that fault line going.
Well, so here's the thing: when people talk about, we're going to get all this done, we're going to have all these electric vehicles and all. Who's fixing that?
Nobody.
Well, that's what
I feel like it's like the same thing as the DOL stuff, dude. They'll deal with it when they get there.
Well, that's
which
the
will
problem,
mean
though.
that we're going to be screwed, and then they'll go, "Wait a minute, this is a problem."
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's the problem we currently have is they want to dive in without having a solution for long term. They want to do it. Let's do it right now, and then tomorrow, when nobody has electricity, they're like, "Oh, maybe we need to build some more power plants."
And not only Gary, they're not even modeling. They're not even doing like small areas and going.
Right. So last time I talked about getting it out to parking lots and so forth, where people could stop and do this, and that by itself, of course, even a small rest area, as I mentioned last time, would require the same amount of electricity that 5,000 homes would require.
I mean, and then the week before, you were talking about the truck parking. I mean, dude, people, let's deal with the real problems and quit making more.
Well, this is what I'm saying is the power grid components that are required to make all this stuff happen. You got the generation station, you've got the step up transformers, you've got the wires that things have to move across. Which, by the way, every foot that you move electricity over the wire, you lose electricity.
Right.
You get that, right? There's resistance. Yeah. Okay.
That's why you want to have as many stations as you can. So that the runs
you want to have them as close to the generators as you can.
Right. But I'm saying that's why you don't just want like the old city structures where there's 2 or 3.
Right.
Ones that you want little micro centers everywhere.
You're going to have to do that. So you're going to have these substations, and it just, the math isn't there. And then we get into this. This all works if everybody agrees to use the power equally. So in other words, we're not all going to be able to wrap up our batteries at night.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? I mean, this works if everybody is like, okay, I'm only allowed to charge up between 8 a.m. and 10 a.m.
Look, dude, we could do an episode on each part of this. We could do a 2-hour episode on just the battery. Yeah. We could do a 2-hour episode on the home charging ports.
Yeah.
The fire danger in those, the fact that that's just not sustainable. And like you were saying, infrastructure, we're nowhere close to having an infrastructure even ready to do that.
Now, don't some states share power with other states as well?
We do. I mean, like people steal from us, dude. Like we sell it to California and Nevada. I mean, you've seen those lights in Vegas? We power those.
So not only would they have to produce more for their current state, they would have to produce more since they're already.
Yeah, and we can't produce more river, guys. I mean,
so put this one up.
That's what we got.
But that's an answer to your question. This is how the power distribution across the United States works right now. So you see that some states, you're absolutely right, are centrally controlled by other states. You have ERCOT down here in Texas. So yes, you're absolutely right. So the way we're structured, it just isn't gonna work. I'm sorry. This
is what blows me away. Tom didn't go buy these top secret documents on the dark web for $1 million, and he's the only person that has it. And it's not some like blog post that some moron made that's just lying. If anything, the information being put out there is the lies, because this is, if you simply read it,
well researched.
Right. If you simply read it, though, you would understand every single thing being told to you is a lie. I'm not trying to get like all the news is a lie, but I'm telling you that like everything infrastructure, everything electric, it's all BS. 100%.
Go to truckingresearch.org.
Yeah.
Trekkingresearch.org.
Yeah. I mean, it's you know, like it's sad though that like people just like the truck, like the semi truck that was battery powered but didn't even have electric in it, just for the commercial that we talked about.
Yeah.
Tom, that you told us about. You know, the one that didn't that was doing the testing and didn't even, when they went down there, they didn't even have, you know, there was nothing inside of it.
There's something about Elon Musk I actually like. Okay, but he told
that
a big
he looks
lie.
like Gary.
Yeah, maybe that's it. But what?
Wait, he's older than me. I would look like him.
Yeah, there you go. He told a lie this week. At least he's going to have to prove it. He said that they did one of their trucks moved 81,000 pounds, which is your typical load that a truck would move in the United States. Excuse me, 81,000 pounds, 500 miles on one charge. I don't believe it.
Where did he say this test happened?
I don't know.
Because the other part of that too is I see him being an even a bigger problem because people know better. Elon would have documented the whole thing. Where's the videos?
Yeah.
Where's the documentation? Because nobody's just going to buy his word. Even him, who's been trying to expose a lot of things, they're not just going to take his word that like he went 81,000 miles with a truck.
No, 81,000 pounds. Yeah, 500.
Right, but I mean that nobody else can do this, and like you didn't. Oh, we forgot the GoPros. Come on, man.
Yeah, I'm yeah.
Like I mean, if that's even being talked about, I should be able to find that on YouTube right now.
Yeah,
which Gary's trying to do right
absolutely. Now. So yeah, Mars, you're absolutely right. You know, that was a subject for a different night. Another piece. You can find all these at ATRI, the American Transportation Research Institute. Download these things and read them for yourself. Look at the way they do the research. You know, they've got everything put together so that, you can find, where are they coming up with their conclusions? And you can argue, you can say, hey, you know what? I think they made a bad assumption when they said, that X number of vehicles would be on the road by X, Y amount of time and all. That's fine. But at least they have it all documented as opposed to this pipe dream stuff that these guys keep putting out here. And as I've said before, my number one problem with all this is while we sit here contemplating this lie, we're not doing what we need to do to figure out how are we going to get off fossil fuels? How are we going to reduce our pollution footprint? Because this ain't it.
No, in fact, I think all three of us know this. If you're going to keep doing these new projects, it's going to cause way more problems. It's like the skipping over the SUV thing to just go to electric. Like, let's just leave it out. Really? Because that's finally starting to get even better. Or the hybrids, I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, work on the hybrids for 10 years, guys.
Yep.
Like, there's something there. That's a good idea. Do that.
That is a good idea. I mean,
forget about autonomous vehicles.
Yeah.
Driver assisted stuff. Yeah, there's so much cool stuff.
I mean, we've talked about that. We've talked about companies that were teamed up to do autonomous, like GM, General Motors, of all saying like we have gone from level 5 or 4 autonomy back down to 2, not 3. Not we're going to go restart 4. They're going back to level 2, which is just driver assistance, like Tom just said, like if you're going off the road, helping you come back.
Right.
Little things.
Well, little things. Stuff like that, they can do so much for us as drivers, and we're wasting time.
Well, not on that, but I believe Tom told us this once before, though, is what happens when they run out of electricity. They send a diesel-powered generator over there to charge it.
Right. The whole thing's crazy.
Are we close to a break, or can I talk about something here?
We've probably passed a break, to be honest with you. Let me go look.
Okay.
We got 3 minutes.
Okay, perfect. So I think Tom, I don't know if you've ever heard me talk about this guy. He's a good friend of mine. He is part of it's Lenny Sanchez, Gary. Do you know what I'm talking about? The Drivers Guild in Chicago. And you and I have talked about this because the Drivers Guild in New York is very aggressive and almost seems unionish. But the one in Chicago was the starting one. And Lenny Sanchez is one of the founding members. Well, he's very tied in with legal rideshare in Chicago too, which is who I've talked with many times and worked with. But he finally got kicked off the Uber app. Now, Lenny has been kind of like the Drivers Guild there. And we all know that Chicago is like a shooting land against rideshare drivers being killed all the time. Lenny's the guy who goes and talks to the family as a driver of the people who are killed and stuff. Forget Uber, forget the police. He goes and tries to get them money and help them and do all this through the guild. Well, right. Lenny got deactivated off Uber for being falsely accused of leaving the scene of an accident. So he's got legal rideshare on it, and they're going to force a reactivation. And now, here's the title from the Chicago Sun Times yesterday. Ride-hailing food delivery drivers can now appeal deactivations under proposed ordinance. That's a big deal. Because that was a right that was taken away from us, that you didn't even have the right to know why you were deactivated. This will make it so that you get to know why you're deactivated and then decide if you want to fight it.
That's good. I like that.
So I just wanted to bring that up. Lenny's a friend. I was sickened to see this because all I've known of that guy is that he does good things for people. That's all I know of him. You know, his politics, we've never even gone there, Lenny and I. But we've talked a handful of times, and him as a person is solid, and he does good things for people. And it made me sick to see this.
All right. Well, I tell you what, on that note, we'll take a break on the radio side. Last break before we bring it all home. You're listening to TNCRadio.live on a Friday night. Stay right there.
Meet Joe. He is a gig worker trying to make money using his car. He uses multiple gig apps all at the same time to maximize his earnings. But this can be difficult and dangerous while driving. Sometimes the requests come in so fast, Joe can't pick and choose the best trips to take, which can result in lower pay or lower rated disruptive passengers. That was until Joe found Maximo, the automation app that helps gig workers accept and decline trip requests. Maximo will use the filters set by Joe, like time, distance, and rating, to determine which trips are best suited for Joe. When a trip request comes in, Joe doesn't need to worry. Maximo will compare the trip details to Joe's filters and then determine if it should automatically accept the trip, decline the trip, or allow Joe to decide by showing the per mile and per minute rates. When a trip has been accepted, Maximo will turn off the other apps that aren't on a trip. Once Joe finishes a trip, Maximo will turn everything back on. This will allow Joe to reduce his stress and frustration, drive safe, and focus on the important tasks. Check out Maximo at www.maximoapp.com.
And Steve, I just emailed you the DOH one for future use.
Okay.
Very cool.
So how long is this break?
We still got a couple of minutes.
All right. Let me check in the chat, see if I don't know if I really I saw pretty high numbers in watching tonight, and then I didn't really see a lot of chat, which is kind of backwards of what usually happens. Right. I mean, not that we don't get a lot of viewers, but we usually get a ton of chat.
Well, I mean, anybody that missed it, don't forget.
I'm guessing it's just because this is working hours, so
right.
They're listening.
But don't forget to go to TNCRadio.live and enter the contest there.
That's right.
And look in the show notes too, guys, and subscribe to TNC on YouTube. Tom doesn't push that enough, and I've got it in the show notes right now, so you can do it right now.
We just started putting all of our stuff on YouTube a couple of months ago, so we're still.
I know. I'm just trying to.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, let's build it up.
And the good thing, like we said before, he didn't bombard you every day with a video. He just drops like 200 in the same day.
We probably put some out last night.
No, it's a cool thing, man. It's like,
It
we're so used to seeing so-and-so uploaded 1 or 2 videos. It's like you never see Tom uploading something, then you'll see Tom uploaded 300 videos. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Well, that's my that's weird. That's my independent contractor who I have come in here, and I don't know when he's going to work. I don't know how much he's going to do, and he does it when it works for him.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever look at the story of the DOL? Was that the one about the truckers to fix?
Man, there's so many on the DOL. To be honest, they make me sick too. There's some not even in the article or the post that I made that I think are worthy too. I was like, I can't include that much into it. I'm going to have to dissect it over the weekend. I almost thought, you know what? It's so frustrating and upsetting though, that I was like, we need to do a Sunday fun day and make fun of this crap to do it right, because it would take about 4 hours.
Oh man, you gotta stop putting paywall stuff on here. Get off there.
On where?
On the articles that you link are paywalls sometimes.
Well,
Like, on the
doesn't
Rideshare
everybody
Rodeo.
have, dude? If you guys don't, you get the blocker on Google.
Does that do the paywall though?
Most of them, like it won't do the New York Times, but it does.
Well,
most
that's
of
what
them.
I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a couple, is what I'm saying. Like most publications that have the paywall, yes, they will. It destroys it.
The problem with the articles that you put out there from the New York Times, I've used up all my free New York Times.
That's what he's saying about the paywalls. So the New York Times ones, I really don't. I don't use often. I use it because I have Google News, and when you have Google News, you get all the paywall stuff for free.
Oh, I see.
Because you're paying like a subscription to Google or to Apple News. I mean, you're paying a subscription to Apple News for $12 a month, $11 a month, and you get all of them.
Gotcha.
Because they pay whatever they made, the deals they've made.
Right.
But yeah, most of the stuff you can just put the paywall, the whatever, I can't remember what it is, with the ad block or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, on Google, and
Yeah, ad block.
It'll do all of them except for that one.
All right, 20 seconds out, and coming in for our last, what do we have here, 12 minutes or so?
Yep, Steve better come up with something.
That's your wife asking.
I know.
In 3, 2, 1. Welcome back in TNCRadio.live. Friday night. That means it's time for Driver Nation. Been with you here for about an hour and 48 minutes or so. It is 48 past the hour, and we're happy to have you with us this evening. Got about 11 minutes here, guys, left on the show. Where do you want to go next?
Instacart bagging.
Isn't that where we start?
Instacart bagging for 50, please. We talked about this a little bit last night. Just get a different opinion on it. I think it's worth talking about because it kind of like I don't do it enough. Like I'm doing dumpling, and yes, I have my Instacart app open, and I'm trying to find some of the bigger orders and kind of like lead those customers to know that you're with the wrong people. Come this way. But so there's a Kroger where a customer said her delivery driver stole her money and some items. So okay, I'm a little confused on the money part. So basically this person was adding items onto the shop and was adding $40 to like this one shop, but who knows how many times they've done this. Okay. So we last night talked about it because I don't do it enough. I didn't know you could just add. I knew you could replace. I knew you could do things like this. And I thought on the customer side, they would see that a little more like, hey, replace this with this. Okay. But here's part of the problem is that when you shop Instacart, you are paying Instacart prices on the items. So you're paying, we can average it, but we were trying to, I think we all agree it's probably dynamic, but let's say it's 20% more, 15% more, whatever. So a can of pasta sauce for $2 can be 15% more. It's going to be $2.30. So they're not, and so it's not normal to get the receipt with Instacart. You can ask for it, and there are ways to get it. But you normally don't get the receipt, and why would you want it? I mean, other than just to prove you're a dummy for using the platform, because it's just going to show you that wait a minute, this isn't what the groceries cost me. And then you still have all the fees. It does nothing. The fees are all still there, but you're paying more on each item too. Now, I didn't know you could just go nuts and add stuff. This person's adding $40. And like, as we were saying last night, even if you just did Instacart and you kept it low key to not get caught and added $8 to every order, you could easily just be paying for your groceries under the radar. Because of the mix of, it's not the true store price, it's Instacart's price, it's this, the service fees, this. Like this person said, and I think that's why it was on several occasions, because this person hadn't looked at their bill in a while. And then they looked and they're like, what? Wait a minute. And I guess they must have been comparing against their old orders or something, but something wasn't matching up. And so they did a deep dive and they found out that, food is being added. Now, I mean, it goes to that, like people saying like, I doubt 80% of the drivers eat food. I doubt that they eat food too. However, I easily believe that 80% at one time or another have taken a fry, something out and just eaten one thing, one time even. And even maybe they thought, I'm never doing that again. That was so bad of me. I'm not trying to make bad. I'm just saying, I believe these kind of stats because like another thing, I was walking around the grocery store today and I can't tell you how many things get half eaten and left on a shelf.
Oh, really?
Oh, dude. I mean,
well,
it never used to be as bad as it is, but now it's everywhere. I see half sodas sitting on there and people are just doing what they want in the store and eating while they shop and not paying for anything they're eating. I mean, I am way past like doubting the fact that people are stealing on Instacart. In fact, I'm kind of curious if a lot of people are subsidized. How I put it last night is because the platform's so bad or the driver's so mad that they're like, I'm just gonna get my groceries this way, which is totally wrong. Should not do it. Yeah. You're hurting the customer. You're hurting everybody.
Not really hurting Instacart that way.
Yeah, I mean,
paying for it. If they don't notice.
But if you're like, man, I'm not making as much on Instacart. I'm just gonna add items to everything. Dude. I mean, how many people do we have out there doing this stuff? I mean, I know people aren't going to be lining up to raise their hands up, but my God, I hope I don't know. I don't even know what to say about it, guys. But I mean, like I guess the best thing I can say is luckily Instacart will be out of business at some point because they're running out of money.
Well, aren't they going to IPO?
So what's your over under, Steve? Seriously, how much longer do you think Instacart survives?
Honestly, man, like we've joked about Lyft or Instacart being a nonprofit. Instacart has done a few things that would lead me to believe they might do something like Meals on Wheels and kind of have to go in that direction because they don't have a future. I mean, their future is losing $3 billion a month and they only have 10 left.
So,
I mean, by that math, 3.5 months, but I don't know, man. I mean, I would assume they'd try and stop the bleeding at this point. And,
they've got somebody somebody's put a lot of money into this. I don't know who it is, but because they haven't done an IPO yet. So
yeah, but that's the problem is that they filed for one. So now it's like all eyes on them. So it's not like they can go kind of reinfuse this under the table a little bit because they've got eyes on them now.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I mean, the thing is like they're not just going to shut down though. That's not how these big companies work.
Right.
Though. Somebody will buy them out eventually.
or dude, or like it, as weird as it is, like right, Uber buys Postmates, and it puts the Uber stamp everywhere. But in some cities, not.
Still
So in some
Postmates.
cities, there's still Postmates.
I still get emails from Postmates saying.
So I
order
mean,
through
like maybe
Postmates.
it's something along the lines of nobody buys them out, but Instacart's only in the markets they thrive in, and all of a sudden they're only in 15 markets, and they're just not what we used to think they were.
Okay. Yeah. Well, certainly by July 1st, there's going to be some massive kind of restructuring in some way. Either they quit existing, they get bought out. I mean, something. They don't exist the way they exist right now by July 1st.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. And in fact, I don't see anything they're doing that's going to bring in more money like they need, like nothing, because they're doing everything already too much. You're upcharging the groceries. You've got service fees, processing fees, this fee, that fee, and then people are supposed to tip the drivers too. You're paying people crap to do this work. I mean, like I know my market's one of the worst for it, but to be honest, like when I usually break it down, it's $6 to like $11 an hour that I would make on these orders.
Huh.
I'm not going to work for $6 an hour, guys. I mean,
Nope. Shouldn't.
Yeah,
Hey, we've only got a couple of minutes left. Steve, tell us a little bit about, we've been talking about Gary's apps a lot tonight. So tell us a little bit about Rideshare Rodeo.
RideshareRodeo.com. You got all the news, all gig news, all the time. You got the podcast on there. If you guys can download it on there. You can play it through the website. But also on your favorite pod player. You can do Spotify, Apple Music, Google, anything you use. It's on everything. And that's the audio podcast. And I question how many of you YouTubers even have ever dove into the audio podcast, because it's fun. It's different.
Yeah.
But also you can connect to all my social media through the website as well. Right on it's just clean. Don't expect like sparklers and things blowing up. It's just a clean, easy to use site. Easy to read the news. It's how I like it.
13 minutes of news you do, what day does that drop on? Because that's the one I like to watch.
Saturday.
So
Tomorrow.
if you can't read it all throughout the week, make sure you catch his Saturday post. 13 minutes of news.
Yeah.
I mean, it's real quick. He breaks it down real fast for you, and then you're all caught up.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And if you leave comments in the that is, I always respond to every comment on every video. But if you leave comments in that one and you have big questions, I will reply in full, because I want other people to see it too. So that's the one where if you have news questions, put them in there.
If you're out driving right now and you want to hear, maybe you've never listened to Steve's podcast before, stay tuned. We're going to do 2 hours of that coming up right after this show. And we've always got good podcasts going on TNCRadio.live. Lots of interesting stuff. And it's not all trucker related. A lot of it is, but a lot of it's applicable across many areas. On Monday nights, we do the mental, the physical, and the spiritual health side of things. Talk with Dr. Christopher Cortman about some really interesting stuff about being mentally strong. We have Hope Zavara, the mother trucker yoga person, and she's a blast. And then we talk with the folks from TFC Global. Really interesting one this past week, where we talked to a guy who his father kind of kidnapped the family after he broke out of prison, and then sex trafficked his children. And this guy grew up to become a psychologist and somebody to help people out of trafficking and all that kind of stuff. That's something we ought to talk more about on one of these shows pretty soon. Is we see a lot of weird things when we're out there driving, and there's some things we ought to be doing when we see weird things and letting people know that I'm not sure what I just saw, but what I just saw probably was not a healthy thing, and getting that reported to the right authorities. So all sorts of different shows like that. So invite you to tune in to TNCRadio.live when you're sitting there at the airport wanting to listen to something fresh and different, give us a shot. We also do weather, news, traffic, all that kind of stuff every morning. So that's it from here. You're listening to TNCRadio.live. Up next, Rideshare Rodeo. Stay tuned.
Good night, everybody. Peace.
Okay, guys, bye.